There are a ton of political podcasts on the internet. A lot of them lean to the left. A lot of them lean to the right. So predictable. But not this one, shooting you straight between the eyes with the truth. This is the Middle Ground Podcast. From Murfreesboro, Tennessee, for Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Rutherford County, this is the Middle Ground Podcast, and this is AnswerFancher.
Hello out there, guys. Hey, Trump just got done talking. I was waiting to see what exactly he had to say, and man, he did not disappoint whatsoever. I mean, look at my notes. I've got like a full page of notes here. I'm really not sure where even to start. It's like, good night. He talked for a long time. He talked for a very, very long time and had a lot to say. A lot of people will probably be upset because he did talk a lot about the election. Of course, I would expect him to. He laid out a lot of the same arguments you guys have heard about the outcome, but he did not. I mean, the closest thing that he said that I was like, I thought YouTube's going to cut this. I thought that they might say, well, I've got interruptions with children here. He did say that he felt that the election was rigged. And then he went on to talk about voter ID and the importance of it. He talked about signature matching. It appears by the end, he started asking, I mean, he didn't ask for money, but he did say they had a PAC that he was starting up. He listed all the different Republicans he was planning on going after. And like there was a long list of Republicans, basically his Trump list, his Trump hit list. I'm sure you'll see that. He talked about how HR 1 is something that the Democrats are going to be. I hope you guys can hear me. The HR 1 is a bill that the Democrats are going to be trying to push through that's really going to affect free speech. Some of the other things he talked about, he went on and on. You know, he kind of was given a scorecard for the Biden administration and how they have done so far. Of course, he's, you know, when I saw that he had lost the election, I figured we get 4 years of him constantly watching what Biden was doing and his favorite thing to do. I mean, and it's anybody's, right? He can be the armchair quarterback and talk about how great he would be in that position. It's a great position for him to be in. But he talked about the Paris Climate Accord, how we're back in it and how much it cost us and how many jobs. He talked about us joining back into the World Health Organization and how we paid $500 million when he was willing to pay around $39 million to be in part of it. Let's see. He talked about women's sports, which is something that's going on here in Tennessee. There's talk about women's sports. He talked about the closing of the Keystone Pipeline. He talked about how gas prices are going higher. And he was like $5, $6, $7. You know, I hope we don't get them that high, but he's definitely laid the groundwork for that to occur. If it does, then it's, you know, he's already setting up Republicans to run on these issues in less than 2 years. Let's see here. What else? Oh, when he first started off, border security is a big issue. He went on and on about border security. Walls and wheels. That's a thing. He's like, I always believe in walls and wheels. You know, the thing that Trump does so well, in my opinion, is that he does bring it down to a level that the average person can understand. He brings it, you know, he speaks so plainly that almost like it bothers some people. But, but walls and wheels is where he started on. Then he went in and he talked about border security for a long, long time. And how he was almost there. What I thought was really funny, one of his funniest lines was he said, if one of his like, you know, Trump doesn't admit to very many mistakes, but he said his mistake was that when he went to build the wall, when he was calling to build the wall, what he should have said is there'll be no wall. He's like, if I had said that we can't build a wall, that we're not going to build a wall, he's like, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats would have been like, let's get that wall built right away. And so there's something to be said about that. And so anyway, I'll have far more to think about, I'm sure, as this rolls over me and as I read what other people have to say. Of course, he said China virus. That was a big thing. He was, talked about COVID and the bailout and how there's still millions of dollars that haven't been spent. And yet we're getting a third round of COVID relief. And he said it was just to bail out the cities, Democrat cities that are in bad shape. Really, when he said elections were rigged, when he said the elections were rigged, my mouth dropped wide open. I'm sitting there, my mouth dropped open. I couldn't believe he said that. He wants honest and fair, accurate elections, and he's looking for the states to handle that. So I imagine we're going to see more of that, especially here in Tennessee, where we have a supermajority. Although I doubt there's any complaint about how our elections were run. We do have voter ID laws already. Some of the things that he wants, we already have in place. Let's see here. The crowd chanted that they loved him, and he sort of let it go on a little too long, in my opinion. Before he was like, "Thank you, thank you." You could tell that he liked it. There's a small crowd, but there's a crowd outside as well. It was the largest crowd that I'd seen at CPAC, and so that was good to see. I'll be sharing some of the polls that they did at CPAC. That's the one thing that I really like to pay attention to. CPAC is this organization where conservatives come and they meet, and then they do a straw poll, and it's always neat to see who is leading the straw poll. Trump, far and away, is leading the poll. My guy, who I like right now for the next Republican nominee for president, would be DeSantis. He was number 2. Of course, CPAC took place in Florida, so that could, that might have given him a little bit of a bump. Rand Paul was on the list, but he wasn't in the top 2. Let's see. The other one, Kristi Noem, I think she's from North Dakota. She'd make an interesting VP selection for someone. But, hitting that high at CPAC sets her up to raise money, which then can lead to a good campaign. So we'll see. I imagine that Trump takes up all the oxygen in the room. Should he decide to jump in, he ended the speech where he was talking about, he was like, I don't know who will run, but we're going to get a Republican in the White House in less than 4 years. And he's like, I don't know who that could be. I don't know. Anyway, that's Trump for you. I think that he will keep this up. This is his first big speech. I think that it went well for him. And I could see, who this is really got to be upset about, really can't be happy, is Biden. Right now, you've got your competitor going to get lots of coverage on this speech, I'm sure, and lots of people are going to pay attention to him. And he's going to be sitting there every time there's a mistake. You can count on him to be bringing it up, or even if there's just any type of mishap. And so it will make it even more difficult on the Biden administration for sure. And the Biden administration needs to be focused on getting that COVID relief through. It's heading into the Senate. It barely passed the House. It was a partisan election, but it was tight. There were even 2 Democrats that voted against it. It's not a sure thing, that's for sure. So anyway, I will be creating another episode later this week. Hope to talk to you guys then. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Middle Ground Podcast, hosted by AnswerFancher. Finally, a political podcast that isn't left or right. It's right down the middle. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and tell a friend or 2. That would help also. Coming to you from Middle Tennessee with a political view right down the middle. You've been listening to the Middle Ground Podcast.